Okay, we're going to talk about day 15 of the Diddy trial. So much stuff was going on. If you caught my live, I kind of skimmed over a little bit about it on my live today. There was just so much stuff happening at that courthouse today. It was a circus up inside that courthouse. They started off the day trying to identify the YouTuber that had leaked out Mia's information, and it came back in fact that was her, and that the YouTuber had doxed her. Now, at the time that they were going over this, the YouTuber that doxed her information was not actually inside the courtroom because they were getting ready to be instructed not to let this person back in. Now, sources say that they probably be trying to press charges because this person knew that they were trying to keep her identity a secret, and if you were in a courthouse, you knew not to leak out that information, and unfortunately they did. But as they was going through this, a crazy supporter of Diddy stood out from the back and started yelling and screaming. They tried to smear his legacy and screw over his name and cause a commotion up inside the courtroom to the fact of where the judge had to have 4 guards. It took 4 people to get this woman up out of there before they could actually get down with the trial for that day. Of course, that spilled outside, and other things had transpired from that, and then other people had got into altercations outside the courtroom. It was a mess up in the courthouse and outside of the courthouse today, and that's why I told y'all I had to kind of reconsider when I was talking about just driving my behind up just to be up inside the mix of things. And I'm glad I'm taking a different approach to this one because it can get crazy, and that's just the small thing that could happen, because really it could have went farther than what it did, especially if they would have did what old girl was asking them to do and go ahead and pew her. Okay, like this, like it ain't even worth it. Not for him, not for this criminal. We all can see, although innocent until proven guilty, this joke is about as guilty as they come. All right, so like, why are you trying to do all this? Well, let's go ahead and get into who they were talking to. Yesterday, they had Eddie to sign his immunity because he wanted to plead the fifth, and before he was give his testimony on anything, Mr. Eddie Garcia, who happened to be the security guard at the hotel at the Intercontinental Hotel, on that March 10th, 2016. They had the sign-in sheet and everything, show that he was the one who was there, and he was the one who transpired this whole, not transpired, but allowed this whole thing to take place far as with the hotel. But he wasn't alone. He did try to do the right thing by calling his boss, his manager, and then the manager was the one who actually approved it. But Eddie Garcia found himself right on in the mix with the the tape, the infamous tape that we all saw on where Diddy had basically beat down Cassie, and she was trying to escape out of there, and he dragged her back to the room. Well, that particular tape had got leaked out because although they made Diddy think it was only one copy, there was another one that was recorded on somebody's screen on their phone. Honey, what you do in the dark shall come to the light. All right, and it's just so crazy because he made a comment. Diddy did, Sean Combs, Mr. Combs, that God put Eddie Garcia in his life for a reason. He was his angel. In fact, that's how they had him labeled inside of Mrs. Christina Coram's phone as my angel and my angel's friend. All right, the manager, my angel's friend, the one that really allowed a lot of this stuff to happen and go down, so that Diddy can kind of get his hands on that tape. And the reason why he wanted to get his hands on that tape because Diddy out of his own mouth said it would ruin his career. So he needed to make sure that he had it, and he was trying to ensure that there was only one copy. Now, unbeknownst to Eddie Garcia, he thought that was the only the copy because he asked his boss. But we're gonna get all into that, and I made a couple of notes with this. Oh god, y'all, it's just so freaking crazy how all this went down. And I'm gonna also talk about something that happened with the jail call as well. But on this particular day, when this whole thing went down, they contacted, they being Christina Corham and P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, the security guard of the hotel, to get a copy of the tape. Now, he was saying he didn't have access to that. There was people that he had to get to in order to get it. One being his manager. And Christina Cohan was calling him multiple times trying to get him to talk to her about the tape, but he refused because he just kept telling her, talk to my manager. Because he didn't want any parts of this. He had no control in the videotape, but the manager did. Well, she constantly kept calling him. By the way, this woman was calling him on his personal cell phone number. How did they get his personal cell phone number? Well, when you're a powerful man and you hold a powerful position, and this is what a lot of people was scared to cross him, you can get whatever you need. Well, they got his number, okay? They got the security guard's number, and they was calling him multiple times trying to reach him. And he kept trying to send him over until one time they called him and had Diddy on the phone. Well, she called him and had Diddy on the phone. And of course, Diddy sucked up to him and was telling how much of a friend he was, and he know he could help him, and he needed him to get his hands on that tape because this would completely ruin him. And he told him he still has to get in contact with his manager and let his manager know. And so he did compile an email to his manager being Bill Martinino. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, which also inside the email had Christina Corham's number that she was contacting him on inside this email. And they had proof of this email in the courthouse. Okay, so Rico, we're tying it together. Diddy couldn't did this all by himself, right? So when they finally got the manager involved, the manager, P. Diddy actually told him that he would pay him for it. And the manager was the one that said he will accept $50,000 to get rid of the tape. Well, Diddy threw in some more and paid him $100,000. And he paid it to him in cash. He said he had a money counter and everything, counting out the cash in front of him and put it in a brown paper bag. Even so much so, when he gave him this money, because he didn't give him money at the first meetup, at the first initial contact. Of course, Diddy was over the phone, and Garcia was at the hotel, and Christina Corham was on the phone as well. It was when they did the meetup in order to exchange the fundings that they met. That all this other stuff transpired between the two of them. And he said when he met up with him, P. Diddy was trying to give him a drink. He was trying to give him that special tea that he liked so much. But thank God this man did not drink this, because we know his history and how he get down, allegedly. So good thing he didn't drink this tea. And poor dude, he was nervous, and he just didn't know what to do, because this wasn't something that he normally did. And this is how he found himself in the middle of all this. What he should have did was let this manager do all this and got himself up on out of here. But instead of $50,000, Puffy bought $100,000 cash with a money counter, counted it all up. They gave it to Garcia. Eddie Garcia was the one who actually took the money out of P. Diddy's hand. And then Garcia was the one who distributed it out. Now, I think they had another person that was involved in this. Now, prior to them giving them the money, this is where the NDA come into play. Remember my question with Law and Crime Network when I was asking them about the NDA? We finna see it go into play right here. Because prior to him giving in this money, P. Diddy made sure he signed an NDA saying that he could not say or disclose anything about about this. But for those that know the law, knows NDA, when it comes to criminal activity, does not hold water, and you could talk, right? So he could have got that money and still talk, right? And wouldn't have been held liable. But the crazy thing about this whole thing is, inside the NDA is a clause in there that says, before you go to the authorities, you need to come and let me know you're getting ready to go to the authorities about, and tell me what you're getting ready to say. A bunch of crap. That does not work that way. And if you ever see that in the NDA, make sure you don't put your John handcuffs on. It's full of mess. How are you going to put something in the NDA talking about come and talk to me before you talk to the authorities about an illegal crime? Man, about anything. Well, they didn't have it section out for illegal crime, but they said anytime you want to talk to anybody, come and talk to me first. Let me get right before you go to them. Basically, I'm gonna block everything first by you telling me, and then you can go tell them. But by the time you go tell them, after telling the person that's doing it, they're gonna get rid of the evidence, right? Come on now, P. Diddy, you gotta be a little bit better than that. But the man went ahead and signed it. He wasn't no lawyer. He did not know the law. He went ahead and signed it. And so that's what I was talking about. A lot of people were being misled and confused, thinking that because they signed this NDA that they cannot say anything. And because he was so powerful and had all this money, it was so easily for him to influence other people. But Garcia never been in this type of life before. And this dude was scared. I mean, we're talking about some big money. This ain't no chump change. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they asked him, what did he do with the money? Oh, by the way, when P. Diddy gave him the money, he told him, do not go and make any big purchases because that's going to raise suspicions. Make sure you don't do anything big with this. Don't put it in the bank. Don't do anything, because he's trying not to let it get tied back to him, right? Well, he kind of made a mistake on that one, because it still got tied to him, and we're going to bring his ex-employee in to show you how that happened. But anyway, they asked Garcia, what did he do with the money, the $100,000 that he was given? And he said he gave $50,000 to his manager, the one who approved everything. He gave $20,000 to another guy, and I don't want to misquote this guy's name, but this was somebody that kind of helped this whole thing go down. I believe whoever worked in the security, where the security tape was, $20,000 to him, and then he took his $30,000 and bought a cash car. Right? And that's how that went down. But Combs told him, if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call me, because of course he was his angel, right? He was who God sent his way in order to make life better for him, right? This is what Combs is telling Garcia. And they asked him, well, did you ever try to contact him again? And he said, yes, years later. But guess what? Combs didn't talk to him. Combs didn't respond to him. Combs ain't got nothing to do with him, because Combs don't want no connection with this man that he done paid $100,000 to. It's going to tie him back to this RICO charge that he's now facing now. But oh, when you add the good Lord name in something, he going to make sure he's staying up for you the way you said he is. You said he was an angel in disguise. He was God put him in your life. Well, God showed you what he put him in his life for. Something totally different than what you thought P. Diddy. God got you on that one. Okay, so let's not be around here lying on the Lord, right? Because he will make a fool out of you. All right, so back onto this whole thing. Okay, so then I want to go ahead and make sure I got it all here. They asked him, was he contacted? Because P. Diddy had kind of prepped him and told him that law enforcement might end up trying to contact you. But he assured him that it would not be based off of him or Cassie. He even went so far as to put Cassie on the phone to let him know that she just wanted it to be being destroyed. She didn't want it to get out because she had something coming up, and she didn't want it to ruin anything she had going on either. And we now know the reason why Cassie said that she fell in line with that was because she was scared. She felt like she had no choice. He was holding a lot of stuff over her head. The RICO charge, starting to come together. Okay, so the man felt confident that, no, it wasn't gonna get tied back to him, but oh, lo and behold, it did. And then they asked him, did the authorities come and talk to him, and did he tell them the truth? And he admitted, no, he lied. He didn't tell them the truth because he didn't want anything to do with that. But then he lawyered up, and his lawyer told him what was best. And he said once he got his lawyer, he did tell the truth. He did tell what actually had happened. But initially he said he didn't because he just wanted it all to go away. This was not something that he would have normally did. He was just following orders from his supervisor. Although he did get a cut from it, which tied him to it. So he was basically like scared. And then they also confiscated Christina Cornham's phone. And guess what, y'all? She still had the number saved up in her phone as what? Eddie, my angel, and my angel friend, which is the manager. Okay, so it just solidify everything this man said because it's all in the phone, y'all. Man, this is some crazy stuff. So then later on, they brought in Derek Ferguson. Derek Ferguson worked for Diddy for 19 years. He was basically his CPA. He was over all finances. And let's just put it like this. Ferguson told it all. He literally told it all. And even they questioned him about that $100,000 withdrawal over $109,000 that was withdrawn from his business account. Okay, so now we're seeing the transfer from the legal enterprise into the illegal activity. And guess who it was given to, y'all? Guess who it was transferred over to? Christy McCoham. Which brings me to why isn't she talking? Okay, when is she coming? This is who we need to listen to. This is who we really need to hear from. His co-conspirator, maybe allegedly. Are they gonna have her as a co-conspirator, or is she gonna flip for the state? Because baby, with all this activity that she doing, she has to be and trying to testify in order to save herself, or going right down with him. One of the two got to be happening because baby, that CPA told it all. He told it from the bank accounts that they had, from everything that was transpired from here to there. But he did say he did not realize that this was being used to fund criminal activity. He was unaware that. He thought it was just a legitimate business, but he could confirm or deny transactions because he was over it. And baby, like I said, he told it all. And so he also stated that P. Diddy controlled 100% of the company finances. All the companies was up under him. Although he didn't delegate it out to different people to do different things with it, he was in total control. And we all know that allegedly is being said that a lot of his businesses he put up under his mother's name. Now, from my knowledge of law, they can subpoena her once all this stuff go down. And when it comes down to attack the funds and get those funds back and seize all that, guess what, Mama Combs? They coming for your behind too. I don't care if it's up under your name or not. If they can prove it and they know that it was given to you and it was done illegal with illegal activities, they gonna confiscate it all. All of it is gone. So, and which brings me to the point about his cell phone call to his kids and stuff for his birthday. They basically were saying he filmed that and they put that out there to the public to try to change the narrative. This is the thing with, and I said this before on another video. He could do all this dirt and everything, and then they can have all excuses in the world for him. Everything, why he did this, why he did that. Everything is excusable for the abuser. But then for the people that he abused, then it's okay. It's not okay. It's okay for him, but it's not okay for them to now try to defend themselves, to speak up for themselves. And you want to drag them through the mud, but you want to make him try to seem like the family man. And you know what? Look here. I'm all for the kids. The kids ain't got nothing to do with this. But when he was doing all this, his older kids were little kids then. So he should have thought about all that when he was doing all this foolishness. He should have thought about his legacy. He should have thought about his kids. Now to try to paint a bad picture of the people that he hurt. and make him seem like, oh, because of the drugs, he did this, or he just wasn't in his right frame of mind, or he typically ain't this type of person. Hogwash. Throw that crap straight out the window. It doesn't even first matter. It's time for you to pay for what you have did. They did ask Ferguson at the end, what did they think of Diddy? What do you think of Diddy? And he thought highly of him. And does he still think highly of him now? Ferguson said, look, I can't even first answer that question. I'm sure you can't, sir, with all the stuff that you're learning about him. This is just so crazy. But the RICO charges, we're now starting to see it, y'all. We're now starting to see it. The RICO charges, they were layering all this stuff up. The prosecution was laying it up, setting it up. Like I said in another video, they was each witness was strengthening the other witness, and they were guiding it straight on into the RICO. And with this, a bit of the information, and I'm sure there's more about this $100,000 transaction, this is opening the door to RICO. This is showing you one of probably many of things that have been going on within this organization. And with a RICO, just remember, it can happen with an illegal business and a legal business if the legal business is using illegal activities of under business funding. Oh, y'all, let's just remember this. That's the organized crime. So a legal business is an organization. It's organized, but you're not supposed to take the legal business and do illegal things with them. Okay, and this is where the RICO is coming into play. So for all y'all act like y'all ain't see the RICO when we all kept trying to tell you, oh, the RICO has been shown and has been proven. Now you too can see the RICO. You can see the RICO. Okay, so let's stop trying to turn a blind eye to the freaking RICO. This man is as guilty as they come. Now, I know they said they had a witness coming in that stayed in Florida. Wow, everything got to go down in my state. And that he was about 2 hours away, and he is supposed to be coming to testify on this. They're supposed to have a new witness who is hiding her identity by the name of Jane. And to eliminate anything happening to her the way it happened to Mia, they are not going to publicize any. So people that's not in the courtroom, that can't physically see her because they're in the overflow room, they will not be able to see it in the overflow room. That's going to get blocked off when Mia. So the audio probably can get heard. They can hear the audio if they're in the overflow room, but they will not see pictures because of this one bad seed, this one bad YouTuber who thought, oh, they're trying to get their 15-minute viral fame, and they need to be charged. Point blank, period. Because it's one thing for you to find out and figure it out on your own outside of that courtroom. But if you heard it inside that courtroom and they told you not to do it, you wasn't supposed to do it. You done broke some laws, bro. Okay, so they need to be addressed on that note. And I hope they get dealt with the fullest extent of the law. And I'm also going to show a clip because I want to show people. I found a video on Diddy for years back where he sort of like idolized his dad, and his dad was the head of some type of gang back in his day before he was brutally taken off the face of this earth. And I really do think, even though P. Diddy went to college and bettered himself that way and got book smart, he idolized that part of his dad and wanted to be better than his dad. Not just be better than his dad to say that he's not going to go into the streets to do that, but as if I'm better than him, I'm gonna do that plus be book smart plus have money. And it was almost like he was trying to prove to himself to become better than his dad. Well, let me go ahead and tell you this, Diddy. You done outshined your daddy on this one, okay? Because I think you done well surpassed whatever he was doing in them streets. You done out surpassed that man. But what you should have done was wanted to be better all the way around and stayed out of the criminal world. But it's one thing about generational curses. If you don't look at the generational curse for what it is, and tackle that thing head on, you are doomed to repeat it and become even worse than what that was. So
I don't have like a lot of memories of my father. You know, they say, you know, you can't miss something you never had. So that's only a little ways right, you know. There's definitely been times as I've gotten older that I miss my father. And you know, his presence not being there, having somebody not to ask like manly advice. And just things that you would ask your father. Also things that you would celebrate with him. That would make him proud, you know. My father was a hustler, you know. He was a drug dealer, he was a hustler. And so I learned early in life that there's only two ways out of that, dead in jail. And, you know, made me work that even harder. So sometimes you can't just answer why, you know, things happen. But I definitely think the route that I went on, staying out the streets and, you know, hitting my books and trying to be somebody, I think he played a role in that. I think that even if we don't know our parents, we still have their DNA in us. You know, we have their genes. You know, I have his hustler's mentality, his hustler spirit, his drive, his determination, you know, his swag. And, you know, he's gonna be on my mind a lot today. You know what I'm saying? My father's name was Melvin Combs. You know, Melvin's son, Sean Combs. Peace.
Let this be a lesson to all of us. The Diddy trial. We all can learn from this. You have to stop prioritizing money as if money is everything. Yeah, we need money to live, but money is not everything in this world. Do not allow people to hold money or statuses over your head. Don't allow material things to make you do stuff that is immoral, and that is wrong, and that's illegal just because of money. We have to stop putting so much emphasis on the mighty dollar. We have to stop being idolizing people who we should not be idolizing. In fact, idolizing in itself is wrong. It's just wrong. You shouldn't do that. You should hold people by the character of their heart, who they are in the inside. That's what you should look at. You shouldn't worry. Yeah, we all need money. Yeah, we all need to live. Yeah, we have to have this and do that. But you don't have to lose your integrity, your morals, or your sense of what is right for what is wrong just to obtain the mighty dollar. So let us all take this lesson. We can all learn something from this. You know, let none of this, that none of the victims go through what they did in vain. We don't have to repeat. And I'm not saying anybody would go this far, but there is things you can do in the likeness on a smaller scale. Let's stop this mess, man. Let's stop. Let's stop. Like, I know it probably will continue on to the end of time, but for the ones that are following this, for the ones that are seeing this transpired, for the ones who are seeing it for what it is, you know, and stop having so much faith in somebody just because of their status, just because you see them as a celebrity, just because they have more money than. Stop it. If they're evil, they're evil. If they're not right, they ain't right. Money is only going to amplify whoever you are. Okay, don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. Money don't change absolutely nobody. Money just amplify who you already are. Look at people's character before you start looking at their bank account and what they have. Come on, we got to learn. At some point, we as a society have to learn, and we have to do better. And this is so sickening. It's sickening that it even got to this point. It really is. But I'll continue to bring the news to you as I find it. I'll continue to show you and break it down in the layman of terms, so you can understand anyone who is watching this. You know, like and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay connected. To my channel, I go live. You know, I have a lot of playlists to explain everything, whatever you're looking for in my channel, because I do offer a lot of different stuff. But stay tuned, because I'm gonna be here till the end, for we can make sure justice is done. We want to follow this to the end. and pray that justice is done. That these victims, the people who have been victimized, all of them, not just the ones that we're talking about, but all of them, including the ones that tried to tell us what was going on, but the world saw them as crazy. All of them get justice. As always, be your brothers and sisters' keeper. Keep God first. And toodles.